phenomenal. I mean, you hear world-class players tell them of how much of Parkhead is just a place to play.
Yeah.
So, whereas if you're home first, you're going to have to get a bit of a decent result before you go away.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we can dwell right now on, you know, how we think we're going to line up and how we think Milan are going to line up, but we just don't know because we've got January to come. But right now, on current form, with the players both at their thingy, this Milan team are beatable. They're certainly beatable at Celtic Park. It would take a terrific performance away from home. Do you think we've got it in us, Chris?
I think we do have it in us, yeah. If I was to put my neck on the line just now, I would say we'll come up just short. That's a mixture of pessimism and looking at the quality that they do have throughout their team. But in terms of Inter as a team, I don't think they're as together as we can be, if that makes sense. And I think it's a winnable tie, and I think we should approach it as such.
Yeah, Chris?
Yeah, no, I think Chris is absolutely right, and that's the game that we are trying to play and we're starting to play. It could be very dangerous to Inter, as both Chris's have touched on. They can kind of play for 40 minutes and then maybe fall away. If we are pressing and attacking and playing lovely, nice, short, quick passes and getting the ball round them, we could score a goal. The issue with that is we need to have that organisation in our defence, because they will score against us if we give them any opportunities. If we make silly little passes like we have been in the league and sometimes getting away with it in the league, it's not going to happen against Inter. If we give them the ball freely, they will take it and they'll score.
Yeah, I think just looking at them in the Europa League, their top scorer in the Europa League is D'Ambrosio with 2. And then it's just Icardi's got 1. Osvaldo's got 1. We've not mentioned Osvaldo because he's currently injured, and he's also a guy who is terrifically technically gifted as he is very inconsistent. What are you saying? Just say it.
Huh?
All right, huh? Okay, Jesus Christ. It's true though. So yeah, I mean, from an Inter point of view, we'll cover this genuinely more as the time comes, but I think we're all optimistic. I think it'll be good to see it happen.
Talking earlier about not all the fans necessarily being behind Ronny Deila or not being a fan of him. I think there's a lot of different reasons for that. Some people were disappointed he wasn't a big name when he came, they hadn't heard of him. Some people disappointed by the poor start. Fair enough, it wasn't a fantastic start. Others with what happened in the transfer window, we didn't do enough maybe. But if we go in February, March, we beat Sevco, we somehow get a result against Inter, do you think the Ronny Deila doubters will be on board if that happens?
They'd have absolutely no reason not to be on board, but you know, football fans, and I don't just mean Celtic fans, and I include myself in this in a lot of ways, are pig-headed. Some people just choose not to like managers, some people choose not to like players. Charlie Mulgrew. No, we don't like Charlie Mulgrew because he's rubbish though.
Yeah, it's based on an objective opinion.
Absolutely. But no, I get your point. It's a terrific one as well, because ultimately if we do go through that, then we should absolutely have everyone on board. Looking at quickly, we'll run through some of the other draw. Ajax got Legia. I think Ajax will put Legia out.
Hope so.
Ciaran, Liverpool have got Besiktas. Do you think Besiktas will put Liverpool out?
Good chance they will do, yeah.
Louis, your beloved Fiorentina have Tottenham Hotspur. Do you think that they will put them out?
I think they'll pump them.
You think Fiorentina will pump to Tottenham?
Pump them in purple, aye.
Pump them in purple.
Twice, home and away.
Salzburg have got Villarreal. Chris Boud, you've seen Salzburg. I don't know if I've not seen a lot of Spanish teams, but Spanish football this season. Villarreal, Salzburg, thoughts?
A tough one, but I think Salzburg could be dark horses.
Trabzonspor, Napoli, Chris?
I think that Napoli will sneak through that in an unconvincing fashion.
Ciaran, one of the ties of the round, Anderlecht versus Dynamo Moscow. What are your thoughts?
Going to go for the Muscovites.
Muscovite, just because you wanted to use the phrase Muscovite. I'm very jealous. Wolfsburg versus Sporting. Sporting obviously dropping out of the Champions League. An all green affair. An all green and white affair, frankly. That'll be interesting. Sevilla versus Mönchengladbach. I look at some of these ties and I think, who is the seeded team and who's the unseeded team? Sporting and Wolfsburg, Sevilla. I know we could actually look on the website and it would say who was the seeded team. But some ties look harder than others. Everton are seeded, and Tottenham weren't. Tottenham
finished second. The Besiktas beat them 1-0 in the last day of the season.
I'm a total dickhead. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. That's why.
Not last day of the season. Last game of the group.
So we've got the round of 32, then round of 16, quarterfinals, semis, final. I feel like we're a few matches away from the final here, fellas.
Yeah, and we're going
guaranteed Champions League qualification next season if we win it.
Not only that, but we're going to need to get right tooled up because it's back in Warsaw.
Oh, don't you fucking.
And we'll be playing Legia, and these boys like to carry blades.
Battling, don't you worry about that.
We'll have to come out the semis hard if we're going to do anything in Warsaw.
You just wanted to hard. Genuinely happy. Look at this smile on his face. UEFA Cup draw done and dusted. Champions League draw. I'll just get that up. But is there any ties that? Oh Jesus!
What a way we come.
Is there anything that any of the draws that? Is there any of the draw
football, Chris? Football
stuff?
What was it?
What do you think the good draws are? Oh Jesus! The UEFA Cup, the Champions League draw. What matches are you looking forward to?
What are the matches?
Jeffy, give me a second.
PSG, Chelsea, same shite as last year, I think.
Man City, Barcelona, same shite as last year.
Arsenal, Monaco.
Juventus, Dortmund. How many times have we seen that?
Who'd Real get?
Real Madrid got to
Schalke.
It's a bit of a shit draw.
That's the thing. Do you know?
All about the Europa League, gents.
No, but
we got out the Champions League at the right time.
See, with all these draws, it would be so much more interesting if they just scrapped the seeding. If you qualify, and I know a lot of people say, well, if you finish first, it should be. No. When it comes to just everyone's put in the bowl and just draw. No? Disagree? Agree? Disagree?
Yeah, no, I think it would make it more interesting. It'll never happen financially, and they want the same teams playing each other every year. But in terms of making the competition more interesting and fresh, I think that'd be a good idea.
I think you have to try and do something to make it more interesting because
I've had no interest in the Champions League this year. I've watched all the Juventus games because I like Juventus, but other than that, it's just been boring.
I actually think some of the ties in the Europa League look cracking. Yeah. I think there'll be some right good games in that.
Yeah, I mean, the actual the actual Champions League draw, PSG Chelsea, Boud. Thoughts on that? Money versus money?
Yeah,
annoying. But interested to see what PSG do in January if they kind of bring anyone in. Chelsea, well, we all know how well Chelsea are doing just now.
Big rumour I heard. Possibly just made it up.
Okay.
Pogba in.
I knew you were going to fucking say Pogba. It's
Verratti out.
To Juventus?
Nah. I did see Verratti linked with Juventus and I added the Pogba a bit and just to fucking annoy you.
Verratti would be good.
Verratti's a good
Pogba,
player.
Obviously, it's not something you want to happen, but it's going to happen, Chris.
Verratti's a guy who people keep talking about. I've yet to see what everyone's talking about. All right.
Yeah, and I know why that is, because you've not been watching French football.
I watch French football every week.
Oh, do you?
I watch League One.
Aye, when you're out your tits.
Aye.
On wine or something? Or?
On wine?
The French drink,
Ciaran Shakhtar Donetsk versus Bayern.
No competition there.
No, it's done. Aye. Man City Barcelona again. That's an interesting one in that Barca are kind of stumbling just now, and then again, Man City could be without Aguero, and Company seems to be injured more times than he's fit these days. But I don't really have any interest personally. That to me is not an attractive tie. Juventus versus Dortmund probably is, in my eyes, the tie around, just because Dortmund are playing so well in the Champions League just now. Juventus are
so poorly in the league.
So poorly in the league, obviously.
I think a good tie actually for just kind of like quite well balanced sides could be the Leverkusen and Atletico.
Atletico lost for the first time in 2014 at home.
This season. I don't see anything other than a Madrid victory there.
Bayer Leverkusen have been doing very, very well. But yeah, I know it's Boud Porto.
Boud Porto could be the best tie because that could be the best competition.
I was going to say that Boud Porto is the only one that I wouldn't have a clear favourite in my head. And I'd love to see Boud.
I thought Boud were excellent against Liverpool. Just the way they moved the ball about, they showed no fear. A lot of better teams than Boud have turned up at Anfield and just been intimidated by the fact it's Anfield. But they played really, really well.
And watching Boud, we're all Celtic fans, obviously, it's something that Celtic should aspire to. Not a huge name in terms of other clubs, but we should be looking to get through and compete and perform like that.
I 100% agree with you. We should be looking less at the big English teams and more at the kind of middle-sized European teams. Even a team like Boud, this will be their second time they've been in the last. Well, no, actually they didn't qualify last year, but they still beat Chelsea home and away, and they went in the Europa League and stuff. We've got this. We need to take the English model, which is the failing model, which is the model that's just not the future.
Model we don't have the money for,
and that would be the kind of other point. Great stuff. Just kind of looking over the SPFL results. Ian Barraclough is the new manager of Motherwell. His comments about them should be that they should be aspiring to win the league. Why not? Thoughts on that?
I think he celebrated with a wee drink and was drunk when he said that. That's the point.
Louis?
Yeah, I think that was absolutely the right thing to say. I think if more managers thought that way, it can only be good for the league. We talked earlier about people putting the league down and not talking the teams up. I think it's crazy for any team to enter a league season and not aim to win it. I don't care who they are or what size they are or what realistic chance they've got. If they go in with the mindset of we're going to try and play every game and win the game, why not? Realistically, he's not gonna. But to have that mentality at your club,
they finished second last year. I'm not saying they can win the league, but
at the start of the season, fair enough. That's all great. Look, we want to win the league. Specifically in this league where you get Celtic dominating, that's unlikely, but we want to do that. But right now, they are not in a position. He should be saying my priorities.
No. What I said is his ultimate goal is to win the league.
Okay, fair enough.
What he's saying now at this point, I think, is I think he mentioned qualifying for Europe, which again is a big statement. But I had my Chris thoughts on it. You have any kind of thought I'm saying that? Is it dumb or?
It's a shit name he's got.
I know.
Barraclough,
yeah.
Yeah, fair play to him. I think you should aim high because he'll ultimately not do it, but there's no point in turning up and saying, we're looking to steady the ship. I mean, Scottish football's wide open in terms of there's us and then there's a playing field where you can feasibly be behind us, so you should be aiming for the top, yep.
Ciaran, you watched a lot of Thistle last couple of years. They absolutely rattled Inverness 4-0. Thoughts on that? Did that surprise you, or do they have that in them to actually do that? They've got some good players, but they're actually still without Higginbotham just now. He's on the injury list. You're looking at me like you don't give a shit.
I haven't seen him this season at all.
Right, okay, fair enough.
I did watch him last season quite a bit, but not this season. I take a wee wander up to watch Pollock at Shawlands. V5 on a Saturday. It's
great.
So how Pollock then?
Robbed in the league.
They got relegated last year. We watched them get relegated last year.
The second.
There you go. Celtic have Dundee United on Sunday, which, other than Aberdeen at Pittodrie, Dundee United at Tannadice is probably our biggest game of the season.
But then after United's result at the weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it that they'll be on a downer because they've lost, or they'll be more determined to prove themselves. Well, they'll be up for playing against Celtic anyway, because McNamara will always want to try and get one over to show that he can actually compete with Celtic. And they've got, this guy, Stuart Armstrong, this guy.
He's really fit.
He is.
Keeps going for 90 minutes.
Listen, 90 minutes. No, I mean, you can watch the highlights of the Aberdeen-Dundee United game. He's been playing on the right-hand side of the kind of front three, but he does the same as what Forrest has been doing. He's been cutting in. That's a goal for Kievo.
No, offside.
He's been cutting in a lot, but he had a terrific through ball yesterday. The guy is, I know I'm obviously talking him up, and he'll sign for Celtic and he'll be dreadful, but he's clearly a danger man for them. Thoughts on Dundee United? You nervous about it, Chris, or are you excited?